What's up and welcome in. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. Chase Senior here with you. No matter where you are or how you're tuned in, greatly appreciate everybody for tuning in to today's show. Coming up, top 49ers free agent targets following the NFL trade deadline. Of course, San Francisco making arguably the biggest trade this year in season for Christian McCaffrey, but could they look to bolster the roster with some available free agents and not trade targets since they can't do that? But first, bye week blues. Are you feeling it? I'm feeling it. I just want to watch the Niners play football once again and build off that momentum that they were able to establish last week against those lame Los Angeles Rams. So if you're going to miss Niners football this weekend, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. I'm going to Florida to celebrate my stepdad's 80th birthday, so I'll have fun, but I'm going to definitely miss chopping it up with the faithful and doing another watch party. All right, let's take a look at these available free agents, and really the most notable names are the names that we're going through here. Have to begin with Sidney Jones. A lot of Niner fans familiar with him because he has spent some time with the Seattle Seahawks, but after Seattle could not trade him away, the Seahawks decided to let him go. And today on Thursday, Sidney Jones did clear waivers. So no team put in a claim, has a salary of about $3 million. He is now free to sign with whichever team that he pleases in free agency. And this is a guy who does have a lot of pedigree. Former second-round pick out of the University of Washington. When he was there, spectacular cornerback. Unfortunately for him, he was probably on his way to being a first-round pick. Popped his Achilles during his pro day. Still, the Eagles took a shot on him in the second round. Just hasn't been the same player, both on the field and confidence-wise. But he has shown some ability throughout his career. This year, only 3 games played with Seattle. Last year, though, he was a starting cornerback. Had 66 tackles, 10 pass breakups, and we know that San Francisco does have a need in terms of depth in the secondary at that cornerback spot, especially after the loss of Emmanuel Mosley to that season-ending torn ACL, and they are getting a replacement back. On the other side of the bye week against the Los Angeles Chargers, it looks as though Jason Verrett will be healthy enough to rejoin San Francisco. Back in 2020, we saw what he was able to do. Had a really impressive season. He was one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL. A lot of high expectations for him last year. Unfortunately, though, tore his ACL as he suffered a litany of injuries throughout his career in Week 1 against the Detroit Lions. So you do get Jason Verrett back. Sidney Jones, not a bad depth piece, though, if San Francisco wants to go that route. A couple times this week, we talked about Odell Beckham Jr., so we don't have to talk too much about OBJ. Him coming to the Bay would be incredible because him as a slot receiver, yeah, let's ride. That would be phenomenal. Juwan Jennings is getting a lot of those slot wide receiver snaps right now. He's good. I like him. Really good on 3rd and 4th downs, especially in some of those clutch situations. His development since being a 7th-round pick out of Tennessee has been spectacular, but he is no OBJ. And for Odell Beckham Jr., a lot of people I've seen in the comment section are saying that this guy is washed. He doesn't have it any longer. OBJ can still play. The concern with him, the injury is starting to mount up a little bit, but last year when he actually had solid quarterback play alongside Matthew Stafford, I thought OBJ played really good football. In that playoff run, he was good. Caught a touchdown in the Super Bowl and then went down with that torn ACL, but this is a guy, if you put him alongside Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, he can make some things happen. So with that, let me ask you this question. What is the biggest potential need right now on the San Francisco 49ers coming out of the bye week with this team sitting at 4-4 on the year? I want you to let me know right now in the comment section. To Dante Hightower, really good linebacker throughout his respective NFL career, who is getting close to being washed. But this is a guy who's been getting it done for a really long time, and there's definitely a reason why him and a lot of these other players are available in NFL free agency. And the same can be said for a guy like Ndamukong Suh. Let's spend a few moments talking about Ndamukong Suh. It really depends and comes down to whether or not Javon Kinlaw, Eric Armstead going to be able to stay healthy or come back from their respective injuries. If they can't, we have seen that when the Niners lost those 2 consecutive games against the Chiefs and the Atlanta Falcons, they really struggled with their run defense. They have missed Eric Armstead and Javon Kinlaw. Ndamukong Suh, I think, can also still play. It's a little bit of a surprise he hasn't signed on or latched on with the team. So we'll see what happens with Kinlaw and Armstead. Kinlaw did say this week. It's so encouraging to be on this team as he's coming back from yet another knee injury, which has been the big story of his career. And I just want to be out there so bad. I'm telling you, I'm trying to do whatever I can to be back out there and have some fun with those guys. It looks like they're having fun at a level I haven't even been a part of yet. Even the run last year, all the fun times, the good, the bad, I'm never a part of anything. I just want to get out there and be a part of something. And I understand where Javon Kinlaw is coming from, right? We're talking about a guy who is a Hulk physically. He has that physical stature. He's a first-round pick who has never been able to stay healthy. In his rookie year, had some knee issues. Last year, had to get that ACL reconstructed. And this year, once again, coming off that ACL reconstruction, he has dealt with a lot of soreness, a lot of swelling, some fluid buildup. And it's really unfortunate for him because when he's on the field, he's actually a pretty solid interior defensive lineman. So we'll see what happens with Kinlaw and Armstead. If they can't come back, maybe Ndamukong Suh could fulfill a big need on this Niners defensive line during the stretch run of the 2022 regular season for San Francisco. Let me ask you this before we continue to go through this list. Do you want a free 49ers jersey? That's right, a free 49ers jersey. We're doing this because they were victorious against the Los Angeles Rams. Well, if you sign up with our sportsbook partner using that link as well as that promo code, we can get you hooked up. Couple more rules, though, you do have to follow. Sign up, deposit at least $100 or more. With that, you get an additional $125 back, $225 to game with you. Make your first bet, then you email us, jersey@chatsports.com, letting us know that you followed all those steps, and we'll get you hooked up with a free Niners jersey. Let's continue to progress through this list. We talked a little bit about Dont'a Hightower. Of course, San Francisco, a little bit thin at linebacker because Azeez Al-Shire out. Dre Greenlaw also banged up last year. Big workload for Dont'a Hightower. 64 tackles, a sack and a half, one pass breakup to go along with 4 quarterback hits. So with that, let me ask you this. Do the 49ers need to sign a linebacker? I actually thought Demetrius Flannigan-Fowles played pretty well against the Rams. And All-Pro Fred Warner, who up until last week had really been struggling in 2 consecutive games against the Falcons and Chiefs, he was balling out, just wreaking havoc from sideline to sideline. Let me know by giving me a Y for yes or an N for no. Another linebacker here who we can hit, kind of the same category as Dont'a Hightower, not as accomplished as him, but let's spend some few moments talking about Jarrad Davis here. Career stats, he's played in a lot of games, 64 games to be exact, 330 tackles with the Detroit Lions there, 19 tackles for loss, 10.5 sacks, and 7 forced fumbles. Again, a lot of the guys who are breaking down on this list, they are still free agents here for a reason, with NFL Week 9 getting underway here on Thursday Night Football between the Eagles and the Houston Texans. But again, if another injury happens or if the Niners need to bring in a depth piece, Jarrad Davis could be one of those guys as well. Now, if a move does happen in free agency, if the Niners make a signing, when they traded away Jeff Wilson, you know what we did? We had a video for you ASAP. Subscribe today as we close in on 67,000 subscribers. 70K. We're going to celebrate that once we get there. Help us get there. Daily videos coming your way right here on the San Francisco 49ers Report. 5 more players to get to here. Will Fuller, intriguing guy who is basically retired right now. Everything that we're kind of hearing here at Chat Sports, he's like 99% retired. This is a guy who has elite vertical speed, can take the top off of the defense, but for him, so many injuries throughout his career and really of the soft tissue variety. Couldn't latch on with the team this offseason in free agency, and a big reason for that, teams were just petrified of him just being a health worry on their respective roster. But man, when he was healthy, he was a very good target for Deshaun Watson as that vertical threat in Houston. With Brandon Ayuk playing as well as he is, though, especially the last couple of weeks, he's been one of the top wide receivers in the NFL in multiple statistical categories. It kind of just leads you to believe that the San Francisco 49ers don't really need to bring in a wide receiver outside of there being an injury. Let's hope there's not one. OBJ is a different story just because I'm of the proponent. You stack up playmakers and you stack up premier players when you can. But Ayuk having a career year, let's hope that he gets past that 1,000-yard mark. 2 defensive tackle. Same argument can be made for Sheldon Richardson that we were making for Ndamukong Suh. because the 49ers a little bit thin at defensive tackle. And like Suh, Richardson has put together a pretty nice career. Last year, 39 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks. This is a guy who can plug some holes along that defensive line at that defensive tackle spot. When I did watch him last year, though, I did have a feeling that he was coming to an end in his NFL career. Does have a lot of experience, though. 125 career starts for Sheldon Richardson. That's a big reason why he does have a lot of mileage on the tires right now, and that's a big reason why he is still available on the free agency market. We'll go through these last 3 guys, Trace, pretty quickly. Anthony Hitchens, a linebacker who is well-traveled and has played a lot in his career. I love the Niners linebacking core when they're healthy. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Azeez Al-Shire, we've seen it. When they were healthy, the Niners defense was humming. When they've been banged up, they've gotten hurt and gashed in the pass and run game. Hitchens, a well-traveled veteran who last year had 80 tackles, could fulfill a depth role on this Niners team. Eric Ebron. I like Charlie Warner. I like Ross Dwelley. George Kittle, still one of the best all-around tight ends in the NFL, but Eric Ebron can still play. And then Darrell Williams. Offensive line going into the year for me for the Niners. Biggest question mark, biggest concern. Aaron Banks has been good this year. No sacks given up at that left guard spot. Spencer Burford, Daniel Brunskill will continue to alternate snaps at that right guard spot, according to what Kyle Shanahan said this week. Jake Brendel, definitely a weak spot. Trent Williams is good. Mike McGlinchey, I've never been a big Mike McGlinchey guy. He was defended by John Lynch this week. John Lynch, the general manager for the Niners, saying that he's played very well this year. I happen to disagree. I think he's been spotty at best, but Aaron Banks, really the biggest revelation. No sacks given up so far this year along that offensive line for the Niners. Before we hop on out of here, want to hear from you. Name a player the 49ers should sign if you think that they indeed need to make a signing. Let me know right now, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Lock us in here on the Niners Report for the best Niners coverage right here on YouTube. Appreciate everybody for watching. Enjoy your weekends. And yeah, it's the bye week. We're going to miss the Niners playing, but you can sit back, get a breath of fresh air, and take a little bit of a break because the Niners are doing it too.